Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how I made these candy covered Oreo pizzas perfect for a Ninja Turtle party, so stay tuned and I'll show you how. Here are the things that I'm going to use: light brown and white candy melts, regular size Oreos. Don't buy the double stuff because they won't fit very well in the mold. I'm going to be using red, black, and green food coloring by Wilton, some white royal icing, and also the Oreo candy mold, and I believe I got that from eBay, and I'll link it down below like always. Alright guys, let's get started. Alright guys, so to get started, I melted a bag of the white with half a bag of that light brown, and it's going to give me a somewhat of a tan color because pizza is a very light, like ivory or tan color, that the crust, so you want it to be in a light brown, not too brown. I'm going to be sticking it in this piping bag. These are from Bakerella, and I got this from AC Moore, but I think Michael's also carries it. They're like plasticky, and you can stick these in the microwave in case your candy melt starts to get too hard to squeeze out. You can stick it in the microwave for about 15 seconds, and then it'll start to soften up again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stick my candy melt in my bag, and then we can get started. Okay, so I have my candy melt in my bag and my Oreos. I do highly recommend to use the regular size Oreos. And all you have to do is squeeze some in there just like that. And then push it in. You'll have some of that come up, which is fine because you're going to have to cover the top anyways. And then just put a little bit more in there. And then with just something like a toothpick or something, just move that around to smooth the top up. And then give it a few taps. Now go ahead and stick this in the fridge for about 20 minutes or so. The longer the better. Alright guys, so I'm going to flip these over and see how well they pop out. They were in there for about 25 minutes altogether. And well, seems like they're coming out really easy. Just a little push on the back. This is the first time I use this mold. It's new. So that came out really nice. I'm going to give this some time to let it come to room temperature because I am going to use royal icing for the ingredients of the toppings of the pizza. You can use candy melts if you like. You will need red, green, and black, but I think, oh, and white also for the cheese, but I think it's better to just use the royal icing because this is pretty thick, and if you are going to do such tiny detail, it might be a little too clumpy and thick. So I do highly just recommend using the royal icing. So give this some time to come to room temperature so it won't be so cold, and then we can go ahead and move on. Alright guys, so I gave this some time to come to room temperature. I have here a round cookie cutter. It's almost 1.5 inches. This is optional. The diameter of this is 2 inches, so you want this to be a bit smaller. And all I'm going to do is just press on it and turn it to make my circle. And that's just guidelines so I know where to put my white icing. You can eyeball it as well. Just be careful that when you're putting your icing, you don't keep going to the point where you don't have almost no crust, because you still have to put that that red icing for the pizza sauce. So I just thought I'd use that to give me a guideline so I know where to stop with this icing. So I have my white here in a tip 3 in a flooding to medium consistency because I want a little control to it. So I'm just going to push it to that line there. And you're going to let this dry just like you would a cookie because it is royal icing. So give this about 1.5 hours to 2, so it dries up really nicely because we are working with darker colors and you don't want any of that to get absorbed into this white. So I'm going to finish up the rest, give this some time to dry, and I'll be back. Alright guys, so I gave this some time to dry. So I have here my red, green, and black, all in tips 0s, but you can use tips 1 if you don't have them. And they're in a flooding to medium consistency. You don't want this to be too runny. So I'm going to start off with my red, and I'm going to do the sauce. So I'm just going to grab my cookie and do a up and down motion. That way it doesn't pipe out smooth, and you'll have just like a plain ring. Have a little bit of texture to it, so it'll look a little bit more realistic instead of just having like a red ring over it. Around it. So up and down like that. So you see it's kind of wavy. So now I'm gonna do the pepperoni. Now, keep in mind this is in a super tiny scale, so it's not going to look like a real pizza or real ingredients. They're more bubbled than they are like the real ingredients. They're not going to be flat. I'm just going around in a circle like clockwise. And then I'm going to do my black for my olives. And I'm just going to squeeze a little dot, a little bit smaller than my pepperoni because the olives are super tiny. You don't want them to be the same size. And then just literally do little dots where you see spaces. And that's it. And now for my green, I'm just going to make little lines in between whatever space available. Just be careful not to touch the other colors because they're still wet. Okay, so something like that. Alright, so I'm going to give this a time to dry, probably about an hour or so. Alright guys, there you have it. Candy covered Oreo pizzas. Really neat. I thought these would be great for a Ninja Turtle party. Hope you like how they turned out. I do highly suggest doing these out of real icing. I'll leave my real icing recipe video in the description box below so you can try it with that. I don't recommend using the candy melts because it is really thick and your toppings are going to look very thick and clumpy. So this looks a lot neater to me, so I do suggest doing it with the royal icing. I think that is all for this video, guys. I will let you go. I thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't done so. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And have a good one.